Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and the political ramifications of her life exit. Specifically, unfortunately, her life exit is very clearly a massively important political event within the 2020 U.S. presidential general election. Okay, so we're past the primary. We're past the 2020 U.S. presidential primary. We are in the 2020 U.S. presidential race, specifically the general. We're in the general now, right? So November 3rd, everybody votes. November 4th, we go into count purgatory, count HE double hockey sticks. It's going to be a mess. It is going to be a absolute nightmare. We're guaranteed to have a highly contested count. There's almost every political analyst right now is saying this is going to be a hot mess, right? And it's unfortunate because the country, people are just really at wit's end already. It's not great to see that this is going to be coming in, and it's rough. This is a rough situation. It really is. So one, I just want to call out, I've already given my condolences to RBG's family. Her life exit, of course, we deal with it from a personal perspective. I've talked about personally my interaction with her as a person, and not, I didn't meet her, but just my interaction with her political presence. And so if you want to see that, that's available there. Today we're just going to talk purely about the political ramifications of her life exit, because it's huge. It is a massive event within the 2020 U.S. presidential general. Okay, so let's talk about it. Who does this help, right? And who does it help? Who does it hurt? Okay, and of course, nobody sought this out, right? So from the help perspective, this is just when this event happened, whose numbers does it help? Who does this event help in the race, right? Not because anybody meant for it to help. It's just a political consequence. Okay, so I understand this sounds a little bit like ghoulish, talking about the political ramifications of this when it's so recent. But this is the world we live in, right? I'm just talking purely about the political ramifications of this event. All right, so now that we got that clear, let's keep moving. All right, so this clearly is going to help Trump. It's going to help Trump massively. Okay, here's why. So one, it's a reminder of what Trump's already delivered. Trump's delivered at least 2 judges. Okay, so Trump delivered 2 judges within his presidency. Even if he loses in 2020, that is a lasting effect that will last for, could be 10, 20, 30 years, right? So no one can say that he didn't accomplish anything. He absolutely accomplished getting 2 conservative judges in. That's huge, right? And so now that RBG seat is available for him to put somebody in, so one, I think he is going to try to get somebody in even before he gets out, right? Even before he's out of, the presidency, before the I think he's going to try to get a new Supreme Court candidate placed before November 3rd, right? And I'm wholeheartedly in support of that. I think that's great. Honestly, everything in our government should move quickly, and if there's nothing stopping us, and the thing is, we have the lists. He's had lists for a while, right? So this vetting is already done, right? So you could just pick somebody off the list and say, hey, approve or deny. And the reality is, making these Supreme Court nominee seats wait for anything is not a good idea, right? So I think he absolutely has the right to attempt to put in a new candidate, and I think he absolutely will. And the reality is, the Republicans are just going to be salivating for a third conservative, at least a third conservative judge to be placed under Donald Trump, right? I know Kavanaugh was one, and I don't even remember the other one, but I know he's done at least 2, right? And the reality, and that's huge on a court with 9 seats. That's big. That is a big change, big political change. And so now that RBG has life exited, her seat is empty, and it's a huge reminder that that he can do a third time what he's already done twice, right? So it reminds us people what he's already done for him. It reminds us people of what he's capable of. And it reminds of something he's already delivered, and that's the issue, right? I'm so frustrated with the Democrats because they have misplayed Trump at every single step. They have never really dealt with him at the threat level he was. He was always a threat, and they never recognized it, ever, right? And we're paying just huge woe points for the Democrats misplaying him left and right, right? At every turn, right? So so basically you have this situation where he is, where, Donald Trump is in this situation where he has this ability to put somebody into the seat. So, and it will really, really remind his base, oh yeah, we want this. We want this for so many reasons. We want this for 1973. We want this for Second Amendment. We want this for, just so like hundreds of cases that are on the docket that can go their way if they get a conservative judge in here, off the list that Trump has already promised, right? So it's just hugely important. Why does it not help Biden? Well, one, it's been like, who can even remember who Obama put in? I can't. Right, and so for him, placing the Supreme Court, and who would he place? Well, I'll tell you right now, he did an absolutely terrible job picking his vice president. Right, Kamala Harris, great lady, great pick for vice president, unless she was your worst opponent and said you're absolutely horrible and have no business doing this job, and I really dislike you, and you personally tried to stop me from being educated when I was a young small girl, right? Kamala Harris is the absolutely opposed, political daggers out enemy of Biden. She hates him, right? I'm not saying that. She said it. She said, Biden, you personally stopped me, put up obstacles to me getting an education as a young girl. Like, you personally did that, right? Like, I remember it, right? And I remember it too. Scott Garibay, right? So basically, he slow-walked his choice, right? And then he chose his worst possible enemy, saying, guess what? You guys all think that politics is politics, and we don't really give two rats about you, and that all of this is just, theater? It is, right? Here's this person who said to my face that I was personally obstructing her own literally elementary age education, and now she's my best bud. Woo! Right? Like, you're like, oh man, that's like, you're like, is it just all theater? Yes, it is. It's all theater, right? Like, we don't really care about anything we're saying. We're politicians. Just nonsense comes out of our mouth. Of course, nothing matters, right? It just totally validates people's worst opinion of Biden and people's worst opinion of Kamala Harris, and even Kamala Harris. Like, this is a dude that you said personally obstructed a young girl's education, literally based on the color of her skin, and you're saying this is the best guy for your president right now. Are you out of your mind? Like, it was very personal, right? So who could Biden put in, right? Well, it's the same thing. Nobody, right? He's not going to pick anybody. And the reality is, I think everybody realizes this time, Joe Biden didn't pick Kamala, right? A group of people who are telling Joe Biden what to do picked Kamala. Because if Joe Biden had even an ounce of self-respect, he'd be like, no, I'm not going to take this person who, like, cut my political throat open with a political dagger in front of the whole country and watched me bleed out and made t-shirts about it. No, I'm not going to pick her, right? I'm still a self-respecting person. Like, duh, no, right? Like, and so that's the issue, is it's become outrageously clear Joe Biden is not actually a political candidate. He's a political presidential placeholder, right? And like that, come on, And so the issue is here: who would Joe Biden pick? Joe Biden would pick nobody, right? Like, whatever league of whatever cabal is like running his decisions now would do it, right? Because he ain't making no decisions. That is outrageously clear. How do I know that's true? Joe Rogan. If you want to attract conservatives, Joe Rogan's a good pick, right? Like, he is a, down in the weeds, like, incredibly engaged political commentator and host, right? He just signed like a multi-hundreds million dollar deal with Spotify, right? If you want to shine the light on your presidency, say, I got what it takes to talk with smarts and endurance and you want to see me, fangs claws out? Let's do it, right? Trump's like, yeah, Joe Rogan interview for 4 hours? You bet. Let's do it. I'm in. Let's go. Because this is clicking, right? I'm ready, right? Joe Biden's, oh, no. I can't do a 4-hour interview. I can't do an enemy territory interview. What if Joe Rogan asked me a hard question? Oh, no, I can't do that, right? Like Joe Biden had no interest in doing a Joe Rogan debate, right? And the reason why is it would be a real debate, right? Like you would ask real questions. You would get to the bottom of who's still got gears, turning up here at the rate they need to be turning, and who doesn't, right? And that's the reality is Trump is clearly running circles around Biden at this point, and it's become an open secret that Joe Biden ain't deciding nothing. Right? He got some cabal people telling him what to do next, because there's no way on earth Joe Biden would have picked Kamala Harris. They were political daggers out, full-on enemies, right? Kamala Harris said, you, Joe Biden, are personally responsible for obstructing my elementary age education based on the color of my skin, right? That's a really good way of saying you got no business being president, right? Those are Kamala Harris's words. And now it's just kumbaya, right? It's a terrible look for the Democrats. It's just like, oh, well, of course they hate each other, right? This is all for show. But we all know politicians, their words don't matter, right? They're just saying whatever's in the playbook. You didn't think any of this was true or real, did you? That's why Trump is getting away with so much, because the words out of his mouth are so self-destructive. You're like, at least he's writing it. Ain't nobody writing his script. Everybody knows nobody is writing Trump's script. He is making his decisions, right? So the reality is this is all Trump, no Biden. Right? RBG's life exit absolutely helps Trump, does nothing for Biden, and really hurts him, in my opinion. That's my opinion, what the political ramifications of RBG's life exit are. What do you think? Where do you think this will land? I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.